A crackdown on truancy and teacher-only days is rolling out, with big changes set to kick in from 2026.
I think it'll be, seen really negatively. I think.
Peter Thorne is the acting principal of Belmont Primary School on Auckland's North Shore. He says the government's move to ban teacher-only days during term time isn't helpful when teachers are already under pressure.
The initial response is that that's a bit of a kick in the guts. The talk is about valuing our teachers, our education and the outcomes for students. And we see our teacher-only days as a real valuable tool where we can get together, where we can focus on our professional needs and the needs of the students.
Why is it so key to have that teachers-only day during term?
Well, our teachers, they're very busy even during those term breaks and the holidays that they have. They are very busy with their classroom commitments as well and their outside commitments. They also can only take their family time and their travel time in those holidays, and so getting people all together at the same time happens really well when we get those teacher-only days. There's been a lot of talk about valuing education, about valuing our teachers and the professional job that they do, and they really see this as something that's going to be taken away, devaluing the profession.
The move was announced as part of new rules aimed at curbing truancy rates in New Zealand schools. Why would a teachers-only day during the term have an impact on truancy?
Mike, I don't know why a teacher-only day would have any impact. There are a lot of factors that contribute to truancy. I don't think 1 or 2 teacher-only days a year is going to be a contributing factor at all. I think last week the Ministry announced schools will be able to use 2 teacher-only days in 2025 for their professional development and upskilling in the new maths curriculum. To know that from 2026 and going forward, that won't be seen as a vehicle to help our teacher development, that's really disappointing.
I mean, it's contradictory, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that totally works against what they've come out and said last week. What's happening this week, I'm not sure if the left hand's talking to the right or not.
Associate Education Minister David Seymour says it's all about improving education. No teacher-only days during term time. That'll go down like a lead balloon with teachers, I'm sure. Why are you doing that?
We're not here primarily for teachers, we're here for students and the future of this country.
The Minister says schools that don't comply will face consequences, noting teacher-only days are only legally allowed outside of term time. As part of the move, the Minister says he'll also be directing ministry officials to take a more active role in prosecutions, saying it's possible an infringement scheme will be set up in the future. New truancy rules are also coming. From 2026, schools must have what's called an attendance management plan in place. There will be varying levels of intervention depending on the extent a pupil is absent. Seymour suggested one option is if a student is absent for 15 days in a term, the ministry could prosecute parents.
But there are certainly cases that I've had shared with me where the parents could act but are basically just giving the middle finger to the attendance service and to the school, and they actually need some consequences. Because one of the things I get talking to people that work in this area is there's lots of talking about rights, but there's no talking about responsibility. Can you just elaborate on what you mean by some parents giving the middle finger to the system? What is actually happening? What have you heard? I've talked to attendance officers who have repeatedly tried to contact parents. They're being ignored, they're being told school's not important, that they don't want to engage.
Is that one report from one person?
It'd be a number. I've been talking and meeting with people in this area pretty much continuously over the last 6 to 8 months. Not in botany. I've been in GI, I've been in Palmerston North, I've been in Christchurch, I've been in Central Auckland, you name it.
So there's parents in all those places giving the middle finger to the system, as you put it?
I would say, yep, pretty much. I couldn't tell you precisely at every meeting I've been to whether I've got that sentiment, but I think it's fair to say that the problem of parents who just don't want to cooperate is quite widespread.
Peter Thorne isn't convinced punishing parents by prosecuting them will lead to improved attendance.
From my point of view, I don't think that's going to help the situation at all. It's going to put a lot of our families that might have truant children They're for reasons of maybe haven't got the right lunch for that day, or they haven't got the uniform ready for that day. They've only got one set and it's in the wash. There are other family issues going on.
Does that then put additional work or pressure on teachers to be, following up on all these reasons, or is it the expectation that the ministry will do this?
Well, it's going to put more work onto somebody, and that in a school like ours might be the principal or the deputy principal to be able to follow up on those things. From what I've heard so far, there's no extra resourcing to help the schools there.
He says teachers are already juggling curriculum changes and staff shortages, and the feeling is Seymour's attendance rules might only add another administrative complexity without achieving the desired results.
Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. To stay up to date with all the latest New Zealand Herald news, click the subscribe button below or check out one of these videos. And head over to nzherald.co.nz for more news worth knowing.